What's up, comrades? I have a very, very special guest today. If you like the original Black Panther Party, I have the organization for you. So, as you know, Nazis decided that they wanted to, for whatever reason, go to a black neighborhood in Akron, Ohio. I believe this was in January or February, sometime in when it was still winter, and they got run out by the people. There was no like, okay, well, maybe we should wait. There was no manifesto writing because everybody knows when the Klan rides, you ride. That's how it is. So I have a comrade from Community Movement Builders in Dallas, Texas, who has a very similar thing going on. And there may or may not be another comrade jumping on, but either way, you're going to learn all about New African, aka Black, community organizing in the year of Mao, 2025. What's up, comrade?
How you doing,
Yefua, is
brother?
it pronounced? It's Yefua, isn't it?
Yafeuh Balagoon.
Yefea Balagoon. Okay. Um, so you are a member of Community Movement Builders in Dallas.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am a member of Community Movement Builders. We're primarily based in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where our national headquarters is at. And because of a good brother, good comrade by the name of Kamal Franklin, advised me or allowed me to join his organization some time ago. We decided to build a headquarters here in Dallas, and we're primarily based in the Highland Hills community. And for your listeners who know about Dallas, they definitely know about the Highland Hills community, and that's where we do majority of our work.
Okay, so what exactly is Highland Hills? I've
Highland Hills
uh,
is a community in Dallas, 80% Black, African American, or whatever folks identify themselves. Is predominantly us. It's historically us, and so you got some older folks, you got the younger folks. It's mixed in about a 2 or 3 block area, and it's about 20,000 people. And so our position, number one, is to try to really hyper focus a lot of our activity, a lot of our organizing in Highland Hills. And you're showing some good facts on your screen. That's where we at, Highland Hills in Dallas.
okay, good deal. So basically the purpose of Community Movement Builders in Dallas is to defend Highland Hills, defend this historically Black New African neighborhood, and prevent it from being gentrified or overrun with Nazis and other types of shitty people. That's right.
Exactly. Exactly. No, you're absolutely correct. Historically, Highland Hills was an African American community that was built in the '60s, and a lot of our grandparents and aunts and great aunts and uncles, etc., and fathers lived in Highland Hills, and we're just trying to maintain that legacy. And so that's what Community Movement Builders is attempting to do. We're attempting to fight gentrification. We're attempting to fight attack on environmental issues, because there's a number of environmental issues in Highland Hills, as you can imagine, because we fighting it. And also we're just trying to give the youth a positive outlet to whereas they realize they can organize and expose the contradictions that exist in Highland Hills. And our focus primarily is to take all of that energy that's
Yes, well, you dropped off a little bit. Your mic died or something. Hmm. So while we're waiting for the comrade to fix his mic, um, highly recommend that comrades that are watching this donate because talking really doesn't do much. Supporting New African revolutionary organizing is extremely important, and the best way to support New African revolutionary organizing is not to wait until shit happens and then be like, "Oh my God, look what happens," and make memes about it. The best way is to provide financial support for these comrades to ensure that they're able to do things like organize our communities to fight for power. What's up? So I'm just trying to get people to donate to this. Demand an end to police occupation, advocate for food sovereignty, stabilize our communities with a stabilization fund and liberation programs, build our Pan African solidarity network, and extremely important, take care of our Black Panther Party veterans in need. Because a lot of people think that, like, okay, the Black Panthers, they were in the '60s and a bunch of them got killed, and now they're going, no. There are still hundreds of original Black Panther Party members, a lot of whom have recently been released from prison, and they need financial support. They need assistance. They need help. So, if you've ever quoted Fred Hampton, if you've ever read Huey P. Newton, if you have ever worn a black leather jacket, you need to donate to community movement builders. Yeah, well, let's try you again. Your mic's still not working, man. Let me see something. Let's see if I can find some YouTube videos while we wait. Hmm.
Just saw you in passing.
Yes,
Kamal
yes.
Franklin. I feel like I know you from
So this is the founder of the organization.
a long time. Welcome to
do know.
Politics Done Right.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, come on a little closer because I need
okay.
to get you in the thing. Okay, let's start
All
this
right,
again.
Here we go.
All right, Kamal Franklin, activist from Atlanta, Georgia, and beyond. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, my brother. How are you feeling?
I am doing fine. What are you doing here at Netroots?
Well, I was invited to come speak on a couple of panels dealing with the issues of domestic terrorism in Cop City. They paid my way, so I came on down.
Well, you know what? We need your voice out here, like we need.
All right, let's try you again. I just added. There's two of you. Oh dear. I don't like the sound of my voice enough as it is. Never mind the fucking grating echo. All right. So
Can you hear me now?
yeah, we got you.
Good.
I don't like
good.
the sound. I don't like the sound of my own voice enough as it is. Never mind the grating echo.
I appreciate you being flexible with me in the process.
You're good. You're good. If there's anything, if there's a key skill in organizing is flexibility. A lot of people make mistakes with dogmatism and they want everything to go so, and they're always sad and they're always upset and they're always burned out. I'm not like that. That shit happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So what were you saying?
So I was talking about the Highland Hills community. We have been organizing in the Highland Hills community for the better part of the last 11 years. So our effort has been to make that more so of a power base for us. And so community movement builders a couple of months back were so fortunate to have an opportunity to purchase property in Highland Hills, just as we have in other places around the country. And the purpose of that is what community movements builders are attempting to do is to become entrenched in the community. So no longer are we organizing necessarily from the outside and coming into the community. We actually live here. Like I'm calling you live from Highland Hills because I have a property here as well that I personally reside in. And so it makes it that much more powerful. And the people here begin to recognize the fact that we have an invested interest as well. So that's what CMB is attempting to do here in the city.
Okay, really cool. That's I've been saying this for a long time, and a lot of people have been saying this, but like the fact that like the left, the Communist Party USA, never mind the Black Panther Party. Oh, here's your comrade. A lot of organizations actually used to have physical presence in the community. Like if you needed the Black Panthers to help you fight your landlord, you know that the Black Panther office was a couple streets up. And I think people would be more apt to join an organization that actually has a physical presence, like you comrades have established, as opposed to just like an amorphous website where you just oh, okay, here, sign up here, and everybody's dispersed and stuff like that. That's why a lot of leftist organizing efforts that target certain neighborhoods fail, because nobody lives there. Like nobody in the organization lives there. So I really, really applaud you, comrades, for like actually setting roots in the community, because that is very, very important.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that I was mentioning to you just a little while ago when we was communicating, we actually uh, took the effort. It took over 2.5 years. We went back to rename a park in honor of an original Black Panther member here in this city, who was by the name of Fahim J. Minka. Brother Devontae, Brother Shaw, who was here, was an integral part of that process. Another brother by the name of Marcus Russell, and my wife, Talisa Shamsuddin, was a part of that process that helped make and rename that park possible. And let me tell you, what we had to do was we had to engage the community, and we had to get over 1,000 signatures of individuals that wanted to see that change. And so right now we're in the process of raising funds. As you see, we got over a couple $1,000s raised at this particular point. I ask your listeners, if you could, please donate, because this is an ongoing fight that we've been struggling with for some time. Our attempt has been to honor our elders. Our attempt has been to honor the original Black Panther Party here in the city of Dallas, because the narrative is that they don't necessarily have a story in the city. And so Devontae's effort, Talisa's effort has been to show that this particular cadre of individuals, and Fahim J. Minka in particular, does have a story, and our efforts now are to tell that story. And as you see there's a skating rink that he started, but this group of people, they had programs, and we're grateful to have been mentees of the Dallas chapter original Black Panther Party as well.
Yeah, I'm especially interested in the African American Men Against Narcotics. If comrades know anything about the Black Panther Party, they one of the cadres in the party hold on. I muted you. I muted you because I heard myself. There's an echo. But one of the cadres in the original Black Panther Party, Setchwile Tabor, actually wrote an article called "Capitalism Plus Dope Equals Genocide." So the original Black Panther Party was they had an analysis which held that the government imported these drugs, heroin, now fentanyl, into our communities to basically forestall the revolution. And we saw after the original Black Panther Party collapsed, you had crack that came in and basically introduced like I would go so far as to say that the default philosophical understanding of a young Black comrade in the United States would probably be some type of weird ass nihilism. Like, you talk about revolution, you talk about changing the world, you talk about this and that, and like this, like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. Who cares? Everybody tried, everybody did. So I really, really appreciate, like, organizations like yours are important because they help forestall that. They help prevent people from falling into that nihilism. They help pull them out of that nihilism if they have fallen into it. Also, I didn't know that you comrades still skate down there. St. Louis used to have a really, really active skating culture when my like mom was a kid, but nobody skates anymore.
Yeah, so he started a skating rink in 1998. He started that skating rink that you kind of got a picture there, and that skating rink was designed to more or less allow the kids in the community to have opportunity to do what you just said: learn to skate, learn to participate, and have something that they can have fun in at the time, and not have to worry about anything going on. So it was a very beautiful concept that Mr. Fahim J. Minka did at that particular time. And so folks like myself and Devontae and other folks, we're kind of been the recipients of that legacy, if you will, because as you were kind of mentioning just a moment ago, we've been taking on this thing called community patrols, which folks are very familiar with us doing it. We actually been doing it for years and years. And so, but it's part of that collective history, if you will, that follow up from the African American Men Against Narcotics, Fahim J. Minka. And now like I said, we got the community park that we're trying to raise funds for the sign for. So it's a very powerful thing that CMB Community Movement Builders has been pushing now in this city for an extended period of time. And we're just glad to be a part of the process. And we hope that your listeners can look at this, look at the work that we've been doing over the past few years. And if they can't physically be here, definitely donate their funds, because it's an ongoing struggle that we have going on here right now.
So regarding the community patrols, like, how do those work? Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, I know, like, other organizations, they do stuff like that, but like, there's different types of community patrols depending on the concrete conditions of the area in which they're organized. So, why does Highland Hills need a community patrol?
I don't know if Brother Shaw, Devontae Peters want to answer that. If not, I can answer it for sure.
You can definitely answer it. Just my take would have been, it's just another program. It's another extension of what we do. Another way to reach out to the neighborhood and, the neighbors, and just let them know that there's another resource that they have. Just like we give out the food and do the after-school program or the community garden, the community patrol is just an extension of the work that we're doing. That's what if you have.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's how the original. Oh, sorry. That's how the original Black Panther Party got started. Like, they didn't just come out to be like, oh, we're Maoists and we're going to make. No, they came out to address issues and problems in their communities. It started with a street light. Like, there was an intersection in Oakland where little kids kept getting hit because the government of Oakland did not care about Black people in the ghetto. So they figured that they don't need a street light. But the Black Panther Party was literally organized just from that basic need. Like, little kids don't need to be getting run over every day. And then it expanded from there. You had the armed patrols. You had the patrols, which were basically, they served a double purpose. They served to educate people about their right to bear arms. They served to educate people about their rights when dealing with the police. So Huey said that. Oh, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Good.
No, so I didn't mean to chime in. I was listening to what you were saying. I was actually in agreement with what you were saying.
Right.
But to kind of stay a little further here, you remember when you kind of mentioned, I think we was offline, the fact that some outside folks came into the community in Ohio. Didn't mean well, and actually, believe it or not, we did the same exact thing. 16. There was an organization called BAIR, BAIR, Bureau Against Islamic Relations, that attempted to come into South Dallas, and we organized over a couple of thousand people, and we actually repelled them out of the community, and we did so armed, and so we used that as a political tool. Now, obviously, we were dealing, at that particular time, with some external forces, all right, because them people did not represent our community in the same way in Ohio that those folks tried to come into their portion of the community, which was largely Black or African American. And so Black people in this country has to realize, especially with whom we got in office at this particular time, we must be able to defend ourselves when it's time to do so. We have to create the situation, because the conditions at this particular time are hyper focused on when it can annihilating us and when it can destroying our foundations. And so That's why we looked at Highland Hills. Not only are we doing patrols in Highland Hills, not only did we rename a park in Highland Hills, but we also have an after school program called the Malcolm X Academy in Highland Hills as well. And I want to mention that because that's something that we have worked on very diligently, very hard for the neighborhood kids. So our program, the way we look at it for our CMB Dallas, is our goal is to hit the youth with the after school program, hit some of the older folks and make contact with them with the community patrols and affect the whole community as a whole with something that we call landscape reparations. Landscape reparations is us being able to identify our own landmarks in our own community, and we put a name on it. As you see in the case of Fahim J. Minka Community Park. That's what our whole thing is about, and that's what we're struggling for. And obviously, this originated, as you was getting to, and I apologize if I cut you off, is with Huey P. Newton, the Black Panther Party, SNCC, RNA, and other groups. A very powerful program.
Okay. So this is basically a slap in the face of those white leftists who are like, oh yeah, black nationalism is not going to work. Like it's just chauvinism, to be honest. Like I saw somebody criticizing the Nation of Islam because the Nation of Islam hasn't started a guerrilla war, and I'm like, neither have you. And for some reason, there's an urge among certain so-called leftists. I don't even consider them leftists because leftists do shit. But like there's an urge among certain so-called leftists whenever black people make a move to do something for ourselves. And we're not exclusionary. Like we're not saying, oh, this is for black only, because we don't move like that. If somebody needs something to eat, like the Black Panthers fed everybody. If somebody needs something to eat, we're not going to turn nobody away because they're not black. That's stupid. That's pointless. But I don't know. I think it's because one, people haven't done the reading. That's why I keep telling people, like, you cannot understate the importance of political education. It's not just reading books, it's actually talking about and applying what you've learned. Otherwise, all you're doing is reading books. You might as well go read a dime store novel. So political education and actually applying what we've learned is extremely important. And as far as the Nation of Islam, I don't criticize it to non-black people because non-black people don't understand the Nation of Islam or where it came from. Now, within the community, yes, I basically consider them a cult. But when you consider the impact, like hip hop started rapping about concepts that were developed by the Nation of Islam. They just started rapping about Marx and Engels and Lenin and now because people could relate to it. People could relate to the nation. So, like, I don't like when I go to Palestine and start telling them how to run their shit or what they should do. Absolutely not. So I don't know. Just chauvinism. Chauvinism has always been a thing in settled colonial countries. It always will be until the settled colonial country is destroyed.
Absolutely, I concur. I concur with you 100%. And in fact, as far as CMB Dallas, as far as how we do our work, we do that exactly the same thing. We let folks participate in terms of working in a specific community in Highland Hills called the Pinks. And if you got some people from Dallas that's listening on, or people that are familiar with Dallas, they know what I'm talking about. The Pinks. The Pinks is one of the most feared locations in the city, not necessarily because of the quote unquote so-called violence, but just because obviously it's a lot of folks that don't necessarily have everything that they need. And so when we organize in the Pinks, we historically do pretty well. And so we're just consistently focused in that area, and we do allow some others to participate. We'll allow them to participate, but they can't lead us. You follow what I'm stating? So CMB is a black-led organization. It's a black group, obviously, and we're focused in very parts of the country and parts of certain cities around the country that need the attention, and that's what we're about. We're very grassroots. We're very grassroots, and that's what we strive to continuously be.
Yeah, that's dope. Like you all are basically applying the mass line. Like you actually find out what the people need by talking to the people, by being among the people, and
Exactly.
you give them what they need. Like that's pretty
Exactly.
much that should be the crux of all leftist organizing. People just sit and they write up programs that have no relationship to reality whatsoever. They'd be like, "Here we go. Hey, here, comrades, here, join us." And then they get mad when nobody joins them, and then they become depressed. So, yeah, I mean, this is how Black people have always organized, even before Mao was even alive. Like when we were on the plantations, we had to take care of each other. We had to practice mutual aid. We had to practice security culture. Otherwise, we wouldn't have made it. There's 44 million Black people in this country because we knew how to organize each other and we knew how to take care of ourselves. Like, and that's the thing. Like, people are always waiting. Oh, what is China going to do? Where's our white allies? Like, stop waiting for allies. Stop waiting for people to come and save you. Like, you look at China. China didn't sit and wait for the Russians to come, the Soviet Union to come liberate them. They liberated themselves. So, allies are good. Allies are a good thing to have. But every revolutionary political theoretician, going all the way back to Machiavelli, said that you should rely on your own strength. A question for the comrades: have you comrades read or do you like Jay Sakai's work?
To be honest, that's somebody that I have not. I'm not familiar with. I haven't read their work.
Okay, yeah, in the third worldist tradition. He's written a lot actually. His most well-known work probably is a book called Settlers. It was written in the early '80s. He's also written a piece on security culture, and he also wrote a very good book which I have behind me about the lumpen proletariat and the revolutionary movement. It's called Mauzy's Revolutionary Laboratory and The Dangerous Class. It's 2 books in one, but yeah, I'm a fan.
And what was his name one more time?
Jay Sakai.
Okay.
It's
How
not
do you spell
Jay A
that last
Y.
name?
It's Saki. Sakai. It's a Japanese name.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people have issues with them. A lot of people don't like them, mainly because, especially settlers. Sakai he's not like he never went to college. I believe he dropped out of high school. He dropped out of high school and went to work straight in a factory. So he's basically an organic intellectual. Like, he's not one of those people that went to Harvard and now he minces words and he writes a whole book to explain something that he could explain in a sentence. Like, he's a street intellectual. And I think that's what pisses a lot of Marxist academics off about him. But yeah, I like his work. Even if I have like some critiques of some of the conclusions that it's easy to draw from his work. But overall, I believe that Sakai has been an asset to the revolutionary movement. Yeah, a lot of settlers don't like settlers because it's about them.
I could see that. Yeah, I appreciate sharing that with me. Another resource that I could educate myself on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have
Yeah.
some study questions somewhere from an old org that I was in. And hold on. And there's a PDF version online. Yeah, but if you comrades want to do a study group over it, I can definitely help prepare study questions if you want. So
I'm personally interested.
yeah, I just put a link to the ebook to the online version in the chat. Yeah, you can also purchase a
Awesome.
physical copy of it.
Okay.
Are you comrades involved in the Malcolm X Academy in Dallas? If so, can you talk about what they do there? I think you guys did mention you touched on the Malcolm X Academy before this comrade in particular came on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I apologize about earlier. My somebody called me and it could kick me out. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. So the Malcolm X Academy is, as I stated, is based in Highland Hills, and it's a after school program that we attempt to we're working to implement in the community, and we've gotten some support with the neighborhood kids, with, like I said, whom we work with. And so our focus is to be able to sort of counter a lot of that stuff that's going on here in Texas, which attempts to try to keep information out of the minds of children. And so we attempt to try to teach our kids a number of different things. And my kids actually participate with it, and a number of other kids participate with it. And our goal is to essentially be able to touch the youth. But for anyone that's listening, they can always come by our headquarters. You can give us a call direct. We got no problem. We willing to work with folks. We working on a garden in the front yard and a garden also in the backyard. And our goal is to engage, especially folks on our street, in relation to that garden. And so we've gotten some support. And I tell you, our goal is we're going to stay there as long as possible. And the ultimate goal is to, as I stated, is to build support in Highland Hills and make Highland Hills one of the most political parts of the city. So that's the focus of CMB at this particular time, and the Malcolm X Academy is very much so a part of that process.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
like to add too that this is an area where it's not too many activities or programs or places for the youth to go do something positive or productive at and spend their time at. So it's one of the few things, one of the few positive things that are going on in this particular neighborhood. Also, me running for office is also like a base for my political activity as well. So it's a multifaceted thing that we have going on here at the Malcolm X Academy. But yeah, so it's another, like he said, we're working hands on with the community, with the people in this neighborhood. I just want to highlight how it's not really like a YMCA or things like that. We do have a rec center that people is kind of hidden by the police station, so a lot of the community doesn't feel comfortable going there. But yeah, but in the direct neighborhood vicinity, this is something that we hope future generations remember, or the kids that are there right now, they remember and talk about it when they get older.
Okay, that's dope. You mentioned you're running for office. Which position are you running for?
And I'm running for Dallas City Council, District 8. We have one mayor and 14 city council people. That's how our local government is set up in terms of the council. So I'll be running for the 8th district out of 14. And, that it does encompass Highland Hills. It is the biggest district, you know, but also the biggest in the southern sector as well. So there's a lot of growth opportunity, a lot of opportunity for development. We just want to allow our neighbors not to be displaced in this process. So that's one of the reasons why I am running. Public safety also seems to be like the number one issue in our community. So that's why, that's one of the reasons why we brought back the community patrol program in that neighborhood.
Think somebody might have called him again. Yeah. So, Comrade asked, "Do you, Comrade? It's not Malcolm X University; it's the Malcolm X Academy." But they want to know: do you have cultural events at your program?
So yeah, we've definitely had some culture type of events at the Malcolm X Academy, and it's really been focused primarily dealing with the youth more so than anything else. Now, just here over the last couple of days, we did do an event honoring the elders of the community, and that's elders that were part of the Black Panther Party, SNCC, and other organizations. Our goal has always been to make sure that we stay connected with those older folks. That's always been a goal of ours. And so we wanted to honor them and also bring folks in so that they can celebrate the accomplishments of the elders, because those are the same people that assisted us in helping rename the park in honor of Fahim J. Minka. They're the ones that was behind us 100%. Myself, Brother Shaw, Devontae Peters, Talisa, uh, and folks like that, they was a part of that process. And so that's what we have going on at the Malcolm X Academy. It's something going on there almost every day, or at least every other day. So we're a very active group.
Okay, that's that's really cool. And just being in DSA, like I've already seen a lot of stuff that people in our organization could learn from, like the especially the importance of doing doing actual work amongst the people, living amongst the people in the community. Um, DSA is also really big on electoral politics. I'm pretty sure both of you comrades know that, but I really like how the comrade mentioned that, like, he's running for office in the service of the people. Like, he's not running for office just so that the organization can serve him. That's like a backwards that's a backwards idea. So I really, really like you guys' position on electoral work. Is Devontae Peters running for city council this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I apologize. I got kicked. Somebody called again. They kicked me out.
I knew it.
But yeah, I just think it's important for our communities to have representation that's not going to be try to get all side, or basically sell one side out for the other. Typically in Dallas, we're historically favor businesses over the common person. So that's one thing we're looking to change. But it's also another reason, like you said, being politically educated. It's also a process to show young people and educate young people. Not just young people, but older people as well, just all people, but especially young people, that you can get involved in the process. Uh, no matter what what you come from.
Yeah, definitely agree. Um, so I guess what y'all's I was going to ask a question, but it was going to be a stupid question, most likely, anyways. Uh, the thing with me is I yap just to hear myself yap. What would you say are some of the most pressing issues that you wish would be given more attention by the public at large? Thank you for the excellent organizing you do for the masses, and they are going to donate.
Um, what was the question?
Basically, she wants to know
Pressing
what are some of the
issues.
yeah
I
that
see.
nobody's paying attention to.
I guess in terms of just is she talking like politically, or does she just mean like in general in our community, in our neighborhood? In our neighborhood, for sure. Public safety, man. There's like a murder, like in Dallas, like now every day. It was almost like every 2 weeks or week or so. Now we have murders like every day, and there's no real way of addressing it. Or what's going on is not addressing it. We've gotten a new police chief. We have more funding for police and things, and they're even talking about bringing or there were talks about bringing a cop city, a cop training facility where they could live, train, and pretty much a whole neighborhood for police. And even that, it doesn't seem to be trying to lower the crime here. So that's definitely one of the major issues, is public safety. But even you know just being able to participate in the economic reality and changes in our communities as well. It seems like mostly people that are not from our communities are in meetings talking about our neighborhoods, but we're not a part of the process. So, um, but even then, like, a lot of businesses don't want to be here because of how dangerous it is. I own a health store as well, and I got my AC unit stolen a couple months ago. So, it just, I think those are some of the major issues, but I think it also ties into the culture. And like, we didn't have a Malcolm X Academy or Charles Beasley Center growing up in our neighborhood. So we didn't have the opportunity to do a lot of the times, excuse me. A lot of people have that in their family, but in a neighborhood setting, we didn't have the time to put our time and energy into something that was teaching us about ourselves and how important we were in the community around us. So I think, this Charles Beasley Center, Malcolm X Academy is something that can change that narrative long term, but maybe short term, trying to grow our patrols and things of that nature.
Okay, I really appreciate try to get a leftist to talk about like the very real public safety concerns. Like you mentioned that there's a murder every day in Dallas. I don't think St. Louis used to be off the chain, but like there's less and less murders. So um, you talk to the average member of the masses and that lives in a community that has a high rate of violent or property crime, and um, it's a contradiction. Like we know that the police don't serve us. We know that the police are full of shit. We know that the police ain't shit but modern day slave catchers. But you talk to people that actually live in these communities, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Defund the police?"
Right,
So
right,
you have to like the left has to provide an alternative because like yeah, crime is a problem. Nobody wants to have their house broken into. Nobody wants to get their car stolen at gunpoint. No, nobody likes that shit. Yes, we know that these are
right,
systemic issues. We know that people turn to crime because there's no good jobs. There's the schools are for shit, and there's no opportunities. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of nihilism in the community. So basically, you're bombarded with got to have this, got to have that, gotta have this, gotta have, and you ain't got no way to get it. Of course, you're gonna go out there and start robbing people. You turn on the TV. Every other show is about a drug trafficker or a con artist or a bank robber. Like people are going to emulate that stuff. So the community patrols, I think, like they're showing the alternative. Like, no, we don't have to fill our neighborhood up with white cops that'll just shoot us. We don't need a cop city. We could take care of ourselves and we could take care of our own elders.
right, right. Ah, man, I having issue. Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Goodness.
Yeah,
Awesome. Okay.
you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So like you said, when you talk to the average everyday person, of course that's what they want. They don't see the contradiction in it, even if they know that when they call, the police either don't show up or take 4 or 5 hours to respond. And that's even like in the more pleasant parts of our of our district or our neighborhoods as well. There seems to be a lag in response time, but people just for whatever reason, they don't we were so far removed from trying to help each other and things of that nature. So we even people think it's very peculiar for us to be trying to patrol our neighborhoods, keep down the safety if we're not getting paid for that. So they just a lot of people just don't understand. But I think over time, um with effort, that people will see that we don't have to, even if we're in a dangerous situation, if you call the police, there's still a response time, and it might seem, different initially to some people, but in our neighborhoods, there is a strong, uh, appreciation for it, even amongst the older people. We spoke to some. I think she said she was 57. She's been in Highland Hills 54 years. She's never seen anybody do a patrol. But at first, she was very. And this was last Saturday or this past Saturday. There was a lady in the neighborhood. She's been there 54 years. She was very critical, critiquing us initially. But as we explained what we were doing, she definitely seen the value and the benefit of it, and she eventually thanked us and told us to be safe. Another gentleman seen us. He made sure he let us know he's seen us for the last 3 weeks. He wanted to get a flyer and tell us to keep up the good work. So, it might not make sense in other neighborhoods and communities, but for ours, it does. And I think that's one of the greater issues that nobody else, even the police and the local government, is really trying to address.
Okay. Somebody asked more about the about your platform for city council. I found an old interview that you did, and I really like it. I really like how you called out crooked black politicians that are basically in in the pockets of capital, of shitty people, of
Right.
gas stations that sell drugs, of people that harm the community. So again, this is how I think we should do electoral work. Like a lot of people just run for shit as Democrats just so that they could get in office and say that they're in office, but they don't give a shit about the people. They only mention the people when election time comes.
Right.
Meantime, you like you actually have a plan. You actually have a plan to help the people in the community that you're from.
Yeah,
That's
that's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing. This is my about my probably I believe my fourth time running for office. I started since 2019, been running each cycle since. However, my me run actually I didn't have political aspirations until my comrade here pushed me to do this. And just going through the process, I just see how integral it is. And people with our thought process, especially those of us that are in a movement, we don't occupy these type of spaces typically. We allow people with different ideologies and mindsets and ideas and experiences to, advocate for us or, be our liaisons with the local government. And a lot of times I feel like that's why we're not getting our due just due because the people we put in position didn't have a track record in the community. They didn't have any real, foot on the ground other than going to different forums or being up under a politician. But me specifically, I think that's one of our main uh problems in getting what we need in the southern sector of Dallas, which is probably more primarily black than the other parts of Dallas. Is we get a face that looks like us and that talks like us, that sounds like us, smells like us, but when they get up in there, it's a completely different story. We find out that we've been sold out. So yeah. I've been very vocal on politicians and especially namely in the South. But
okay.
as far
Very
as my
cool.
platform, you know, definitely, like I said, public safety, economic development for the whole southern sector. It typically seems downtown Dallas and up north, they they don't have the issues that we have. I also owned a store up north as well, and I see the stark differences between those communities and mine. And I just want my people to participate in that process. But typically, what happens is, the council people usher in, or the local government ushers in gentrification or economic development through gentrification and displacing people that have been living here, that made memories here, grew up here, and it just makes it an unattractive place for natives. And this is happening all over the country. And they allow more affluent people to come in and enjoy the possibilities in the community. So a part of my platform would be definitely to hold developers accountable, and address our housing issue through policies that allow for affordable housing to be mandated for these developers, and then making developers also have to pay taxes in our neighborhoods. A lot of times the council gives them tax abatements or tax exemptions or tax incentives, but they're not growing our tax base in that sense. So anyway, so it just makes it too easy for certain activities to for our people to be exploited, and we not have a real advocate or liaison for us. So
Okay.
those are one of the things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm really glad you brought up gentrification because like St. Louis is very similar. Like my old neighborhood, there were people were literally burning down houses so that I'm pretty sure both of
Damn.
you comrades have heard of the Delmar Divide. Okay, so there's this street in
Yeah,
St. Louis called
Marcus.
Delmar. Yeah,
Right.
and north of Delmar, basically everybody there is black. It's basically like the Berlin Wall in St. Louis. It's a street, and like people were literally burning, like so many houses burned in my old neighborhood because they were trying to, and they're still trying to extend gentrification north. Like it's hilarious. Gentrification is always hilarious because these white people they ran out of these neighborhoods. Like y'all ran off and left when just one of us, moved
Right.
onto the block.
Right.
Now
Right.
the great grandkids of the people that ran off, now they want to come back. Where are we supposed to go?
Right. No, this is facts. This is facts. And we made the community what it is, made it attractive for you to guys to want to participate in this experience, but you want to displace us. And with the help of local government and elected officials and developers. And I don't really think the average person understands the logistics of gentrification. And but like you said, even St. Louis, I think there was a guy they called the father of um, uh, what is it? Urban planning. Yeah, urban planning. And they basically created our neighborhoods to be, dysfunctional, or not have access to highways or to flood and things of that nature that we see, well alive here in East Dallas. So what we're just trying to do, man, is a lot of this information and these conversations go above the head of the average, regular, everyday working class person. Or just people that are busy out here trying to make a living. So what we're doing is creating programs to interface with those people and have these conversations where it's digestible. We're not trying to talk over anybody's head. We're not trying to belittle anybody, but meet people right where they are. And that's pretty much been the basis of a lot of the work we have done, is meeting people where they are and having these kind of conversations.
Yeah. The guy that you talked about, by the way, is named Harlan Bartholomew.
There
And
you go.
yeah, you mentioned another book I recommend. I'm just going to recommend y'all books. Another book I
Okay.
recommend is Broken Heart of America. Um, it's really good. It's basically like a thorough historical materialist analysis of St. Louis. Every city needs a book written like this. But you mentioned highways and stuff like that. Urban renewal, that's what they call it. But activists call it Negro removal because that's essentially what it was.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
yeah, and so a lot of cities like St. Louis, Indy, uh, a lot of cities in the Midwest, the Rust Belt, like there were entire black communities, like living, thriving black communities in St. Louis. It was called Mill Creek, that were destroyed for highways, so that rich white suburbanites can get back and forth downtown without seeing or black people without driving through our neighborhoods. And then there was an political reason for destroying these neighborhoods. Like, you ever notice how Paris has all those wide boulevards? They did that to make riot control easier, because Paris was known for barricades, because it was basically it was a medieval city trying to live in the 17th and 18th centuries. So it was easy to throw barricades because you had all these little crooked winding paths. So eventually some dude whose name I can't remember, he demolished a lot of shit and built these wide avenues so that you can drive cavalry down it, or in the modern day, tanks. And in the United States, it's the same thing. They figured that slums, what they called slums, black communities or multiracial bohemian communities, they were seen as a threat. They figured that these communities breed communism, so they destroyed them. The Comrades, just two organizations I know programming like them, mobilizing the youth to get involved in the community, raising anti-suppression campaigns. Yeah, I actually spoke with the other day a comrade from the New Era Young Lords, an organization that's in the tradition of the Young Lords Party that was part of the Rainbow Coalition with Fred Hampton. And it really, really heartens me. It really makes me glad that people are learning the lessons from the past, but also trying to adopt them to a new era.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm in agreement with you, and so, and that concept is the same vein that we have attempted to do in the city. As I stated, historically speaking, the story of the Dallas chapter of the Black Panther Party, which organized from let's just say 1973 to 1978, is oftentimes not known. Really, we can go back to 1969, honestly. And so part of the things that we've been doing is to try to raise again those narratives that has been forgotten. And so that's why I said the park name change, and the actual relationships that we've had with a Marvin Crenshaw, the relationships that we've had with a Akintunde Funzo, the relationships that we had with a Fahim Minka, James Skip Shockley. These names, these individuals, we're trying to make sure that their stories are told. And so I'm with the new era group, the Young Lords that you just mentioned, because that's exactly what we're doing. The only thing that we're doing differently is we decided not to necessarily take the Panther name per se, but we've definitely decided to continue the legacy. At least as far as this city is concerned, we can do just that because these are individuals that we knew personally.
Yeah. Plus, when you take another organization's name, you kind of have you kind of are expected to do certain things. Whereas if you have your own name, then you can move as you want to move. So yeah, and like there's at least 6 that I know of, new era Black Panther groups, and I've investigated all of them. All of them have the only real, I guess, organization that actually applies revolutionary intercommunalism as developed by Huey P. Newton is the Revolutionary Intercommunal Black Panther Party. But yeah, a lot of people like grabbing guns and putting on leather and call themselves Panthers. But folks can do what they want. They grown. So is there we're I don't want to keep you off for too long. We're about to be at an hour. So is there anything that you comrades want to wrap up with?
I'll just say appreciate the opportunity. I do apologize for cutting out again, but yeah, appreciate the opportunity to talk to your listeners, man. I appreciate the book recommendations. But yeah, man, Malcolm X Academy, Charles Beasley Center. Definitely keep in touch with us. See the work that we're doing, and we'll continue to do in the future.
Okay.
And in addition to that, as I stated, we got an ongoing campaign to switch out the park sign, which is about $10,000 for us, and we got a couple $1,000s in. And so I know that you did here show it, the link here on YouTube. So if anybody can donate, that would be extremely helpful, and that'll help us reach our goal a lot faster. And that's what we're trying to do because we've already been through the process of getting the support. It's actually changed. We just need to put the sign. So that's, believe it or not, that's $10,000. That's going to cost. And so any amount of support that we can get to make that happen, we appreciate it. We thank you, brother, for giving us the opportunity. It's not often that we get to tell our story here in this city of Dallas. So we're forever grateful to you, your listeners, your cadre, the people that you're working organized with. We're just absolutely grateful. And we thank you for giving us this opportunity from all members of Community Movement Builders nationwide. We appreciate you very much.
No problem. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All right. Good night, y'all.